You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 107. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Jeff Barnhart. Nameless who live by night, formless who shun the light.
Nice. Wow.
All will be explained.
Of course. In due course. Comic Reflections is brought to you by Rhymes with Geek. You can find our show, plus plenty of other cool podcasts like Super Podcasto Magnifico, the all-new Anti-Fanboy, and Feed It Comics at rhymeswithgeek.com. And be sure to subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher. So, our first book to talk about today is The Silver Surfer, number 8.
Now strikes the ghost. Guest starring Mephisto, Monarch of Evil. I never seen guest starring the evil person. I was just guest starring somebody like
Captain America.
Yeah, or Hulk or somebody. It's not guest. You don't guest star the villain.
Yeah, well, it's a given that the villain is a guest star.
Yeah.
Because they are the point of contention. They will cause a problem for our hero. Mm-hmm. And especially Mephisto is essentially the regular villain of the series.
I haven't read that much Silver Surfer.
Well, I haven't read tons, but, you know, believe me, we will have some more issues later to read of him. And, yeah, it's Mephisto again. So
yeah, and I guess we learned this earlier on, is that Mephisto wants his soul because Silver Surfer won't give it to him.
Well, and Mephisto he's a stand-in for the devil. He's not the actual devil, because there's other guys who are eviler than him, I guess. But he gets evil souls all the time. That's easy. But because the Silver Surfer, Norrin Radd, his soul is pure and noble, he wants to corrupt him or find a way to get that soul because it has more value. So he's doing all kinds of things to try and get it, which is interesting. And I'm glad they've done that rather than him fighting Galactus every issue or something.
Yeah.
Because what would be the reason for Galactus to come to Earth every month, you know?
To eat it.
Well, right, but
yeah, I like a general. I don't want the same villain every time.
And shows that have the same villain all the time, or animated shows, it's nice to have, like, in comics, having a rogues gallery is great. You can have that main villain, but make it so you only see him once a year, or a couple times a season, or whatever.
Or something, yeah.
So it has impact when they show up. Mm-hmm. So we haven't read that much Silver Surfer, so Mephisto being here, hey, it's still pretty heavy and great. So yeah, the story is called When Strikes the Ghost. Stan Lee wrote it, maybe.
I was thinking the same thing.
He probably did write the dialogue. But John Buscema probably plotted it, as is the Marvel style.
I wonder if Silver Surfer is lacking in laughs. I don't think there's a single joke in any Silver Surfer I ever read.
Right.
That's not a bad thing, but it's interesting when everything else in Marvel is all wisecracks.
Right. And a couple of things. Let me finish the credits, and I want to come back to that thought, because this is really good. John Buscema penciled it, and Dan Adkins, one of Wally Wood's most successful assistants, inked it. But, Marvel's real style and feel is really dictated by Stan Lee yucking it up with lots of jokes.
Mm-hmm. For good and for bad.
Yeah, in Spider-Man and Daredevil and the Fantastic Four, it's awesome. And then the bickering, of course, in the Avengers is good too. But Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos, it's too many jokes.
Yeah, and World War II is going on, and you're
like, I think we could get a little more. We could be a little more stern-faced, being that it's World War II.
Yeah,
it makes it feel like Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah, which was an interesting show. I mean, they had about 2 or 3. Honestly, LeBeau was actually in a concentration camp. Yeah. Sergeant Schultz was Jewish. Mm-hmm. Klink was Jewish. And he said, I'll do the show, but Klink can never win. Because he wants the Nazis to look ridiculous.
Well, yeah.
And there's 2 bad guys, Hochstetter and the SS guy and the big fat were great villains.
Yeah, but the thing is, do you think that making the Nazis look ridiculous reduces the impact and importance of the Holocaust as a significant historical event?
No. Mad Magazine did that because they were saying, oh, look how popular this is. Hey, we'll have it in a concentration camp. It'd be even funnier, And they made that point. I am not sure.
I think this is in this gray area where you can.
Yeah, but World War II is not the Holocaust. The Holocaust is not World War II. I mean, they're combined. They're interconnected, but World War II was far worse than the Holocaust because 50 million people died instead of, I think, 6 million Jews. About 10 million people altogether was killed in the camps.
Yeah. Well, it's still a horrible atrocity. Mm-hmm. The actual warfare itself, kind of overshadows it as far as numbers go. But yeah.
But you can't just never make a joke about World War II.
Well, right.
And I don't know. Did you see Life is Beautiful? What did you think of that?
I haven't seen it.
It was a comedy in the concentration camp. I am conflicted. It's a good movie, but man, I don't know. It's just some of the things he did. I'm not sure that. What
do you think that I'm aware of that movie? And do you think that Jerry Lewis, who made that movie about the clown in the concentration camp, that's never been released? Do you think that he may have seen that and said, maybe it wasn't such a bad idea? You realize he was just ahead of his time, or
maybe?
What's the movie? What is that movie called?
The Day the Clown Cried.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Jerry Lewis is a genius. He overdoes his humor. I mean, he doesn't know when to stop it.
Right.
He doesn't edit well, but there's some funny stuff there, and he is very smart. Yeah. He needs a Dean Martin. When he's with Dean Martin, he's really funny by himself. He doesn't know when to stop it. Well, because
Dean Martin allows you you don't get a chance to get sick of Jerry, because then here comes Dean singing to some beautiful girl, and then their interplay together is so great. Yeah. And,
Right.
Interesting. So,
yeah, it is. Back to Mephisto.
One more thing about Marvel Comics being really jokey, and I think about there's all the superhero movies that are out now, and a lot of people complain man, the DC movies are so serious, and do they have a rule about no jokes or something? Think about it. Going back to the Silver Age context, DC wasn't really jokey. I mean, it's square and there's some goofy stuff, but there's no wisecracking. And I don't think you should.
There's occasionally a funny thing when Jimmy makes the mobster kiss a monkey. That was pretty funny.
Right. But if you saw that in a Superman movie, it would be ridiculous. It wouldn't be what people are wanting, them to be kind of like the Marvel movies. But I think that the DC movies having their more serious tone, it maintains that, DC and Marvel are different, and you can tell by watching or reading. They have a different vibe. And I think it's good that they have a different vibe. I don't want them to be
the same. Yeah. I think maybe a little bit. It'd be a good idea. A little bit less jokey on the Marvel side, a little bit more humor on the DC side.
Yeah, but I mean, Captain America: The Winter Soldier was pretty serious as a DC movie.
Yeah,
but then Green Lantern felt like a Marvel movie, and it bombed.
Yeah, I tried watching that 2 times, and I fell asleep both times.
Man, I fell asleep in Superman Returns. You know what? People really hate the Green Lantern movie. I see it as a movie that's flawed, but I find it enjoyable. It's still, I think it's a pretty good movie. But let's talk about the Silver Surfer.
All right,
kind of been on for a while.
Mephisto figures out he has to get a human being, which I don't know. They try to explain it, but it doesn't. I don't understand. Okay. I hate when it's super magic like this, and Doctor Strange is sort of. I don't know the rules and the stuff. They just make it up, and I don't know.
Well, magic. You just come up with something out of thin air. What do you mean? He needs to get a human being for what?
To get Silver Surfer's soul. And I'm not sure why.
Oh, right. I'm like, don't you have enough magic to do it yourself?
Yeah, indeed. So he gets this guy who the stuff I said at the very beginning. This guy is minding his own business, trying to summon up a demon. And here comes Mephisto and tells him to summon up a ghost. And they summon up not just any ghost.
The ghost of the Flying Dutchman, right?
Yeah.
Before you move on, there's I think, what page is that?
This is page 6.
Page 6. There are a couple of panels of this with the Mephisto and this magician guy or whatever, they look so Steve Ditko-y. The central panel with the eyes, and there's a panel with the profile of the sorcerer and just Mephisto's hand, and it's really Steve Ditko looking facial expressions, and I like that. Buscema borrows really well. He's great. He's one of my favorite comic book artists, but he is the embodiment, I think, of what we tend to think of as the Marvel house style that really became kind of monochrome in the 70s, where we're borrowing the specific elements of Kirby and Ditko, and we kind of have this very consistent kind of thing. Like Romita and the Buscemas, John and Sal, kind of ended up creating that house style. I like all of those artists a lot, but
what we have here is impressive. I don't know, for some reason I don't like the 70s look. I'm not sure why.
This isn't quite the 70s yet. I think it's still 68 or 69.
Yeah, okay.
But we're moving in that direction.
Well, 70s and 60s, it does not end at 1970 or something. But, some impressive stuff though. Lots of magic stuff, and
Buscema's not afraid to use employ full page splashes for dramatic effect. Although sometimes I think it's were we short? It's not quite book length. Well, blow up this panel and make it a splash. But anyway, Mephisto gets the Flying Dutchman's, or the Lost Dutchman, because the Flying Dutchman is the ship, his soul or whatever, and he's gonna turn him into. He's gonna give him power so that his soul can rest or something. Because the Flying Dutchman is not like a legend of folklore that really my generation really perpetuated, so I'm not as familiar with the story.
Neither am I, and I forgot to look it up. And he is called a Flying Dutchman, and the real thing, well, whatever it was, Flying Dutchman was a ship.
Right.
Oh.
But, I remember an episode of Scooby-Doo that referenced this heavily. But that's, but I think generations previous to myself, or maybe even to you, like that was a very popular legend that everybody really passed down. So.
Yeah. So, the Flying Dutchman, we got the origin story on him. He is a captain of a ship, and he's going after some kind of gold or something, and then he goes into the storm, and his men beg him to turn back, says, no, let's go. And then he, in the storm, sinks his ship, and everyone else goes to heaven but him, because he committed a crime of sacrificing his ship and his crew, and that's the most unforgivable crime for a sailor. I thought that was interesting. So Mephisto allows him to get his soul back so he can rest if he gets the Silver Surfer's soul.
Right. So being that Mephisto is evil, it's probably all a lie. He probably wouldn't keep the bargain. I'm not sure. But anyway, they give this guy weird hands. He gives him like cybernetic eye and like these weird claw hands. They look like pinchers, but with blasters in the middle of them too.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So
and Silver Surfer feels it when Mephisto is angry at him.
Yeah.
And he felt really bad. And then he dreams of Shalabal. And that's really, I love her outline in the stars. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if the Surfer could detect Mephisto's malicious machinations via the power cosmic.
Maybe so, but he's contacting Shalabal. They don't know they're contacting each other.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Their love spans galaxies and stuff.
All right.
Which is pretty epic in the mighty Marvel manner.
Yep.
Man, listen to me.
I'm impressed, actually. Let's see. All right, so the Flying Dutchman's given a sailing ship that flies in the air and is impervious to everything. And so, it's kind of funny that people think it's a advertisement or some kind of advertising blimp, which is the way people would act. That's what they would think. And then he starts blasting things, and they think something else.
Yeah. And I remember reading earlier Marvel comics in the Silver Age where some supervillain shows up or hero in the middle of a Times Square, and somebody thinks it's a put on, like it's an ad, and then they don't realize they're there to destroy something or whatever. They're in danger because they don't realize there's risk involved or whatever. So
it'd be dangerous to live in a world with superheroes because they're supervillains, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
And
it would be such an exciting world to live in. I mean, I'd love to go there despite the risk,
Yeah. I thought most people seem to be okay, but and in comic books, hardly anybody dies. So.
Yay! I mean, people die, but yeah. Question, and this is a little tangential before we talk about our next issue, which is part 2 of that story.
Yeah.
Part 2 of a 2-parter. I like that. If you were going to choose a comic book universe to live in, which one would it be?
It would have to be Silver Age Superman.
Okay.
But I don't even know what number 2 would be.
So Earth 1, DC.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about you?
It's tough. I mean, the Marvel universe would definitely be exciting. I'd probably say Earth 1 DC or maybe Earth 2. Yeah, I mean...
I wouldn't want that Earth where all the super villains win.
Earth 3?
Yeah. That
with the crime syndicate? No, I wouldn't want to live there. But, or Earth S, where the Shazam, where Captain Marvel... living in Fawcett City? That would be great. Nothing bad would really happen to you.
No?
Plus, Captain Marvel's there.
Right.
You
have a good radio show.
Yeah, even when Doc Savannah or Mr. Mind show up, oh well, the big red cheese is gonna come save the day. So maybe that would be one. I don't know. But anyway, so we have the next issue is Silver Surfer number 9, and the story is to steal the Surfer's soul, which I love that. It's so epic. Stan Lee again writing. Probably just the dialogue though. He may have given a rough plot to Buscema, but probably by and large the plot was probably Buscema. But as is the Marvel method. But Buscema on pencils and Dan Adkins again inking.
Okay, you see the policeman with super weapons, and it looks like Kirby weapons. And man, I would just like to have a Kirby weapon, something, or a Kirby car, or something that looks.
That's what it is. I'd like to live in a fantasy universe with all the Kirby creations, Marvel and DC.
Yeah,
or at least to visit.
Oh man, but all the Kirby weapons don't work either against this ship. So
against the cyborg ghost.
yeah, that's what he is.
Yeah,
very.
It's weird that Mephisto gave him technology from magic.
Why not magic? Magic from magic. That's what.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's an interesting idea. And for a one-off villain, this Dutchman, he looks really cool.
Yeah, it's and he's given this Silver Surfer, a hard time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of imagination, I think, in this series. I mean, the last issue that we read with the one-off villain, the Overlord, wow, he looked cool.
Yeah, he was.
He was a pretty impressive villain just to use for one story.
Yeah, better than a lot of recurring villains.
Well, yeah, I mean, because a lot of times you think, like, one-time throwaway villain, it's just going to be somebody lame.
Yeah.
But then again, you get villains who come back time and time again, like Paste Pot Pete or...
Why?
Or Mysterio from Spider-Man.
You haven't read much Mysterio.
Yeah, I think we'll get to see Mysterio some when we get to our Spidey cycle. So...
Alright, so the fight's going on. And then, alright, here comes... Alright, so you're a super villain, and your plan's going really well. So what do?
You reveal your entire plan and do something to screw it up?
You come down and interfere with your plan that's running perfectly.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Moron.
Oh... Yeah, is it that the Silver Surfer is so good at beating Mephisto, or is it that Mephisto is so inept at being this overlord of evil?
Yeah, it's kind of...
Man, he looks so cool, though. And like all the when you see him in like his dark evil realm, it's hell, I guess.
Mhm.
And you see all the twisted trees and like
with the faces
and
on.
gargoyles and crap creeping out of every corner.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Oh, he meets some policemen and some passerbys and really ticks them off, and then he erases their memory so they don't know that they saw him. And
It's like, why would you care? It's not like you have anything to lose by them having seen you.
yeah, like what, are you gonna lose your secret identity as a
The devil.
Yeah. And he goes invisible. Why does he care?
Yeah. Maybe because clearly the surfer knows when he's around.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really work. Okay.
Okay. So they go and they're fighting, and
The surfer and the Dutchman.
yeah, and the surfer's not doing great. He almost gets hit by a subway, and he stops it. Instead of jumping out of the way, he just stops it. But it would just hurt everybody on there.
Well,
in the subway car.
true.
If you stop it suddenly, everyone's going, just going
Right.
accordion into the front.
Well, right. And the surfer is probably as strong as the Hulk at his maddest, or more. And I know he looks thin. He doesn't look like super strength would be like one of his powers, but it is.
Yeah. All right. So, Mephisto shows up, and then he tells the whole plot. Get the surfer's soul so the Flying Dutchman can die in peace. And the surfer surprisingly says no. So you can't have my soul.
Yeah.
So
doesn't he take pity on the Dutchman or something? Something.
Okay.
There's a turn here.
Okay. So Mephisto says, grab that lovely passerby in the miniskirt.
Yeah.
So the surfer is getting tired. Says, "Well, I got to use a cosmic power," and trying to let's see what does he call it? No, my power cosmic.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it backward. That's all wrong.
Yeah. Well, now it's just ruined. No.
Yeah. Oh, so he gathers his power cosmic and releases the girl, and which shocks the
Dutchman.
The Dutchman, because he saves this innocent. He risks his life to save an innocent.
Right.
So the Dutchman's saying, "Well, why am I helping this jerkwad off?" So,
Yeah.
and and then surfer pities him.
Yeah.
And that really touches the Dutchman, because no one
ever cared.
Right.
Because what he had done before was so reprehensible, no one had ever shown pity or sympathy for his plight. And because the surfer did this, it released his soul.
He starts crying. The surfer does.
Yeah.
And that releases the tear from a forgiveness can free a lost soul.
Yeah, so Mephisto is foiled again, and the surfer goes free. Well, within the barrier placed by Galactus. But
Right. Yeah, that's not a bad story. I liked it. I liked the whole thing with the Flying Dutchman getting.
Yeah.
It's a nice story. It had a nice arc. It ended well.
Yeah.
Mephisto was stupid, but then evil is stupid.
Yeah.
Gotta be stupid to be evil.
Yeah.
Evil geniuses.
He is a really good villain, though. Even though he was stupid. Like, was it overconfidence? Like, he just whatever, I'm gonna win. So he just,
Yeah.
But he's so cool looking too. So I don't know. Yeah.
All right.
So we have one more issue of Silver Surfer. It's number 11, and the story is called "Oh Bitter Victory," written by Lee, penciled by John Buscema, and inked by Dan Adkins. Second part of, I think, a 2 or 3-parter, and it's a little confusing as to what's happening.
I read this before in the
good.
70s, and so it's I like these. It's such a sad story. Oh, well, let's get into it.
Yeah.
There's a battle before this, and Surfer wins, and he takes off. And here comes a spaceship. So the remaining army is defeated. Figured out, oh, this is another bad guy. Well, and they're the bad guys, but he's
right.
They got to be the enemy. So this guy goes into one of the last cannons and blows up the spaceship. And so we look inside the spaceship, and who is it? Shalal Bao with his goober.
Yeah. So they came from Zenlaw. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. Maybe the rest. Maybe she wants to be with Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
She saw him helping this other chick, and
thought that she had been forsaken.
Mm-hmm.
So the little context: the army that you're referring to, it's the army of this some banana republic. It's
with the coolest weapons ever.
Yes,
it is awesome.
Yeah.
And
it's the typical. There's a revolution going on, and a dictatorship, and blah blah.
Yeah. So the goober with Shalal Bao is Yarrow Gort.
Okay.
And he wants Shalal Bao.
Of course.
Who is very nice looking.
Yes. So. I feel like this is the same plot as the guy that wanted to kill Mar-Vell so he could get his woman.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah. Although I think this is probably a plot that a device that gets used again and again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, cool looking ship. Silver Surfer sees it, so he lays down the young lady he's helping, and goes into they go into the ship, and then they figure out, oh, this is from my country. This is from
Zenlaw.
Yeah.
This is my country.
Okay. All right.
What movie is that from?
I think it's My Land That I Love or something like that.
I don't know.
I don't know. So, all right. So, Yarrow and Shalal Bao is brought in front of a colonel who is really evil and not wearing a uniform. Interesting. And then they're brought in front of a general. Why not just be taken in front of the general first?
I don't know. Stuff. So, the villain of the piece, he's offering intergalactic weaponry to help this revolutionary because he doesn't care about this, but he wants to get Norrinrad out of the way so he can get Shalal Bao.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's going to help these folks defeat the Surfer and the revolutionaries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of cool. So Surfer brings a girl to his home, and then there's some other people there. It's the remnants of the rebellion, and there's only a few left. So the girl tells, "Oh, Surfer, you can be trusted." So then they're attacked by the guys, and then by the army, and the Surfer. He doesn't kill anybody. He just destroys their weapons and makes them run away.
And then the revolutionaries are like, "Hey, why didn't you kill those guys?"
Which is, they're right, he's wrong.
He should have.
Or unless they surrender, when they run away, they'll come back and fight you.
But the Surfer holds value. The life has value. He doesn't want to take a life.
Mm-hmm.
It's
he
sacred.
doesn't want to, but he will. But Yarrow Gort, man, okay, he's making all these super weapons. And look really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the general is going to have him killed, and Yarrow Gort is going to have the general killed. So, no honor among thieves.
Nope.
So then, the revolutionaries attack, and it's a big battle. Surfer comes up, and then he sees Shalal Bao. He's really shocked.
Yeah.
And
she gets shot.
Yeah, right. By the general.
Right.
It's really cool looking.
One thing I just want to pause. I saw in one of the advertisements pages, I see an ad for maybe the greatest comics fanzine of all, Alter Ego, which is Roy Thomas's comic fanzine, and it's still going today. And I read it all the time. It's a excellent scholarly journal about Gold and Silver Age comics.
Interesting.
So anyway, Not a Toy Story.
So, all right, they're trying to kill Silver Surfer. He grabs Shalabal, who's actually mortally injured.
Yeah.
And so Yarrow Gord is trying to kill the Surfer, and the Surfer kills him first.
Yep.
And the General.
So then he programs the Yarrow Gord ship to take Shalabal back to Zenn-La. Surfer cannot go with because of the barrier placed by Galactus.
What a sad story.
Yeah. Hey, back up. There's a cool house that I want to talk about. I like to talk about those.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Here we go.
Here we go. Now on sale. 2 more triumphs from Marvel. It's the Avengers number 71.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the Kree-Skrull War, but we get to see the Avengers fighting their World War II counterparts. I should say the Vision, the Black Panther, and Yellow Jacket battling with the Torch, Namor, and Captain America. And then Thor number 171, and he's in a big fight with the Wrecker. So it looks pretty cool. So.
Yeah. No, not a bad issue.
No.
Yeah, the Surfer, well done. And beautiful. I love the Kirby-esque machinery. Yeah. And that just makes it.
He invented the Marvel Universe, though. I mean, so many things that, even if he's not drawing it, they're there.
Mm-hmm. So. And he's there.
Oh, yeah. All right, so next, our last comic for this episode is another issue of Dagar the Invincible. This is number 5. It's from Gold Key Comics. And the story is called Another World, Another Time, written by Don Glutt with art by Jesse Santos.
Another world, another time, another Dagar the Invincible story.
Yay!
Hey, all right.
Do you like these?
They're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, he wins too quickly.
Yeah.
The last time he killed Scorpio, after about 3 issues.
It was the 4th issue, and that was supposed to be his adversary for like the whole thing.
So now he's going after the girl, and he finds her. Okay. I'm sorry for the spoiler.
That's fine.
Yeah.
She has a weird name, like Graylin, which is a name I would give a male wizard.
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by it. I kind of think it's kind of cool because it doesn't sound like anything I've ever heard before, but it does sound like a wizard's name, male wizard. Yeah. And she ought to have gray hair. Gray hair can be very attractive sometimes.
Sure. Oh, sometimes you see a woman with like platinum blonde or silver hair. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Well. Yeah.
Or just naturally gray.
Sure.
Sometimes it's very nice looking.
Yeah.
So Dagar goes to the cave where Graylin disappeared.
And where she disappeared to, through a cave of magic mists or something, into a land of dinosaurs.
And mastodons and cavemen.
Okay, so, yes, this is very Turok, because Turok and Andar did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting to note, because Don Glutt was and is a dinosaur expert. He's written books about dinosaurs. He's as well known for his work in comics as he is for writing about dinosaurs or writing other things. So
yeah, these are always so busy. There's like about 18 dinosaurs in this one.
Right.
You see a Tyrannosaurus Rex attacking a Brontosaurus, which is really an Apatosaurus, which I disagree with. I think Brontosaurus is the greatest dinosaur name ever.
Yeah. I'll go.
How else can you have a Bronto burger?
Right?
Yeah.
That's from the Flintstones, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers, we will talk about an issue of the Flintstones from Charlton down the pipeline. It will be months from now, but you wanted to talk about more humorous or the sillier comic stuff, and we will a little bit here and there. So
have you ever laughed at the Flintstones? I never have.
I've always liked it, and then
I did too, but I never thought anything was particularly funny.
Well, as a kid, I haven't watched the Flintstones since I was a child, so I don't know if I don't think I ever laughed at it, but I probably liked it.
Yeah. What stuff do we look at as comedy we don't laugh at?
Yeah, because it's silly or it's supposed to be humorous. So I don't know.
I rarely laugh in movies too. Saving Mr. Banks is the last time I laughed at a movie. One great joke about a song, but I won't tell anybody. But it's
Okay.
because it was a surprise and it's really, really funny.
Yeah.
Not a bad movie, by the way.
Yeah, I may have to see it sometime. Anyway, back to Dagar. I had another thought, but it disappeared on me. So. Oh, the Flintstones. It wasn't till years later. I read somebody in comics. Their father didn't like the Flintstones because they said it was ripping off Jackie Gleason and the Honeymooners.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, it is. Except as a kid, I didn't have the Honeymooners context.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I didn't know that it was.
I think there was
an imitation.
I think they were upfront about it. I'm not sure. That's the impression I get. I might be totally wrong about that. But so,
I mean,
you're gonna rip off somebody. I mean, something's a rip off of something. There's nothing totally brand new. Nothing new in the sun that's in the Bible. So
I mean, I don't even like. And I think it's to just call something a rip off. It gives it so much of a dismissal right out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean it's not any good or not enjoyable. Lots of things have imitators, and they are often fine.
Yeah.
Often the imitator becomes a more successful or more well-known thing.
Or better. I have seen that too.
I think Barney Rubble as a more subdued Art Carney, that's okay.
Yeah, not as funny though.
No.
Art Carney, that I've gotten some belly laughs in the Honeymooners. That's really good.
Yeah, but I mean, Fred Flintstone is totally that Jackie Gleason character.
Mm-hmm.
What's the character? I forget.
Ralphie Boy.
Oh, Ralph Cramden. Yeah.
Hello, ball. God, address the golf. Address the ball. All right. So speaking of funny stuff, here comes Dagar, and he meets a caveman, and he saves his life. So the caveman comes back, and apparently, his Graylin is with him, but she's in the clutches of this witch doctor, Zurg. That's a cool name. I'm gonna call my firstborn Zurg.
Yeah.
But
we'll see what Colleen has to say about that.
Indeed, yeah. Indeed. So, Dagar was able to bring his horse, which is kind of cool because cavemen did not ride horses; they ate them.
Yeah. Zurg has a headdress that looks kind of like Cool Goth from the. It's either the Conan or the Kull comics.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, that probably came a little after that. Well, no, it's probably contemporary with this.
Mm-hmm. I love where the caveman look. It's really well drawn and really cool.
Well, and their facial features look kind of ape-like.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah. Dagar is just boring.
Yeah.
He looks like he's got a mullet going on. It looks like I don't know.
Yeah, as far as sword and sorcery heroes kind of go, he's kind of weak, and it's almost like the best ones like totally ape Conan, and this guy is like, well, he's kind of in that vein, but he's also got a medieval aspect to him, and he also has a Tarzan aspect to him.
Yeah. And remember, he was before and after Caveman and before Babylon.
Yeah.
So he's almost a caveman in himself. He's not that far. He's wearing a caveman outfit.
But you know what I mean? Not this issue, but so many other issues feel like they're in that vaguely medieval period. Mm-hmm. And how can a comic series be so anachronistic within itself? You know?
Yeah, I guess they just don't care. But it's real. I like seeing the villain. He looks really cool.
Yeah, I know Santos is really great. I used to really enjoy his stuff in Creepy and Eerie magazine. His stuff really shines without color.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah. Some artists, I think the Filipino artists, they benefit from doing the black and white stuff.
I think the color here is good though. The yellow headdress just works, and it's really well done. The girl's beautiful, and she is
lovely.
Yeah. She's lovely, but she's also got the whammy jammy put on by the witch doctor.
Oh yeah, he's got a spell put on her. Yeah, because he wants to marry her because she's being worshipped as a goddess, and then he'll be, gets to rule. Yeah, and he'll get to rule the tribe. Whatever.
Mystery god.
Yeah. So there's like a dragon or something that Dagar's
got
to fight.
Dimetrodon.
Oh, a Dimetrodon.
Dimetrodon, is that even
Dimetrodon.
I don't know. I never.
That sounds like a robot dinosaur. Dimetrodon.
It's been a long time since I was 8.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, but it
doesn't come up in conversation every day.
Really? I talk about Dimetrodons all the time. That's
Not
probably why I'm still unmarried.
Yeah, not in Oregon City. They don't show up very often. Okay. All right. So the caveman that
Dagar
saves him from the monster with the cell in his back. She's always weird. What a weird dinosaur.
Yeah.
So
I guess they're even now.
All right. So then we got this huge stampede of dinosaurs running from a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which we saw in the first panel of the new place. So what's the big deal? So they're running away from it. Let's see. What does he do? He sets it on fire, and
sets what on fire?
Sets the land on fire. So to prevent.
Graylin from getting trampled by. Okay. I feel like that same thing happened in an issue of Turok that we read.
Yes, it did.
So.
Oh my. Okay. So Zurg can't do anything. I don't know what to do. So here comes.
Yeah, all the tribesmen thought he was magic, and they're like, "Use your magic." And he's like, "I don't have any magic."
Mm-hmm.
So the jig is up for him, basically.
All right. So they kicked out Dagar and the other guy, Jarn or something like that. Yeah, his name is Jarn. That's an odd.
Why?
Name.
Oh, because of Zurg's power over them. Okay.
So then they come back and save the cavemen. So they're impressed by that. So then they had to fight the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
And that's pretty cool. They use rocks and fire and all kinds of stuff.
Then Jarn gives them about a handful of spears. So then Dagar just throws spear after spear after spear at him, and then he's got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 10 spears in him.
In the throat.
Yeah, and in 4 other places.
Yeah.
That kills them. So the cavemen have plenty of food to eat.
Dagar the Invincible. He's the Spear Chucker Jones of the comic book set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you remember MASH? That was
I know. Man, the early MASH was really funny.
Yeah.
And after Larry Linville
left the series,
and it wasn't funny very much.
What was the character that replaced him?
Winchester.
Winchester was a good villain. He was a cad,
but the jokes weren't there, and it wasn't as funny. Okay, so
I think as a bad guy, Winchester had a little more going for him though than.
He was a likable guy compared to
Frank.
Yeah, Frank.
Well, he had more depth. He was a jerk, but he had more going on than Frank. Frank was so petty.
Yeah, and Frank was one of the greatest villains of all time. I love Frank. Okay.
What was his last name?
Yeah.
Frank
Burns.
Frank Burns. That's right.
But he's no. Oh, the CID man was the greatest. Colonel Flagg. Man, I love Colonel Flagg. I'd watch the Colonel Flagg show now. Man, he was great.
So anyway, what happened to Dagar and stuff?
Okay, Dagar captures Zurg, and Jarn takes Zurg away to do caveman justice. Not sure what that is, but it's not going to be pleasant.
No.
So.
And Dagar and Graylin, they get back together and they're cool, and they split from the Magic Valley of Dinosaur folks.
It's so 4 issues. He defeats Scorpio, and
here's number 5, and
then he gets his girl.
Yeah.
All right, so there's nothing else to do.
Yeah, and yet the series ran for another 12 issues.
Yeah.
So we won't look at all of those, but I think we have several more issues of Dagar to look at over the course of several episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's it. Do you have any?
Well, what do we have for next week?
Remember, we have anher episode to look at.
Oh, okay. All right. So next week we'll have Man Who Murdered Metropolis, Superman, and what is this? Ghostly Tales.
Yeah, from Charlton.
Okay. For my spirit thrives on tales of wretched woe.
Wow. I like that. You pull out these good, like, poetic nuggets, and I like that. One more thing I want to remind listeners: we have a Facebook group that you can join. It's called the Comic Reflections Podcast Discussion Group. It's not just a clever name. Please go there, join that group, and discuss current or past episodes. The end.